All right, everybody. This video is to help you solve the Geo Metro Suzuki Swift, the 1 liter 3-cylinder oil fart that has been a problem. It was a problem from 1990 all the way up through 2000, about when they stopped making it. This is a 2000 Chevy Metro. We had that problem on a 1990 and a 1992, where you'd be climbing a hill. Typically you're climbing a hill. Sometimes it's when you're just driving down the highway or freeway. Usually when it's climbing a hill, you're running full bore, and all of a sudden it just starts blowing, black smoke out the exhaust. And then if you keep your foot on the throttle, it just goes away eventually, right? But anyway, you feel like you're blowing your engine, whatever else. Anyway, that started happening on this one at about 110,000 miles. It now has 280,000 miles on it, and I just actually rebuilt the motor and stuff. But anyway, we fixed that problem. It hasn't had any oil farts since I fixed it. So here's the issue. All right, the PCV hose that comes into the air cleaner. Okay, it comes into the air cleaner through that little tube right there. All right. And then the reason I'm showing you this now is because my fix is finally started to pop off again. So it comes into this little chamber, all right? And then you'll see all of this oil mess. And I've got some head gasket issue in there. So now you'll see why I have all that foamy junk in there. But anyway, regardless, it comes into this little chamber right here. And then from that little chamber, there's kind of a little galleyway that it kind of filters it all out. Okay, so that it's not sucking oil or liquid into the air cleaner. It's just recirculating the emissions gases. So, let me get a rag here, clean that crap out of there. Okay, so here's the little tube right here. So this kind of caps the chamber, right? And then there's a little hole right up in there, and it comes out so that you're not getting any liquids, just the fumes. Okay, what happens is this little cap starts to get loose, and it flaps like this. All right, so then you're climbing a hill, all the oil liquid kind of gets down into this little corner right here, and you're running full throttle, and so it's just sucking a whole lot of air through there, and eventually it just sucks a bunch of that oil that's sitting there in that galley right through the air, right through the intake. So that's what happens. That is the culprit for the Geo Metro oil fart. Okay, all you got to do is clean this up real good, and I just use some black RTV, or good oil resistant RTV, and it'll kind of fill it up. Fill up these little galleyways right here. You can kind of see the old RTV here. I can pop that out of there, right? So that's all the old RTV from 110,000 miles or whatever, from when it had 110,000 miles. So that was, 10, 12 years ago anyway. And it held up until now. So a little bit of black RTV, throw that cap back on there. Make sure you tape it down or put some weight on it overnight until that black RTV is good and solid before you start it up again. And that's it. That will solve the Geo Metro oil fart. Hope this helps.